Has the demise of the Cardinals organization been overestimated a little bit? John Mozeliak sets the record straight on today's episode of Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. My name is JD Hafford, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter X at JD Sports Radio. You can also follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And if you are a more visually stimulated fan, we are also available on YouTube. We're making a push for 11,000 subscribers. So if you haven't done that already, please stop on by. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button, I should say, so you don't miss a single episode, because this is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode being brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So when the announcement came down that the Cardinals were going to be dropping payroll, I think a lot of stomachs dropped as well when it comes to how fans took that bit of information. The first thought for most fans was worst case scenario. They're going to start a rebuild, aren't they? They're going to start a rebuild, aren't they? But that wasn't the R word that John Mozeliak and company used. Instead, they used the words reset. Reset was the word that they went with instead. But many fans responded with "You can't fool me, John Mozeliak. How dare you, Mo? You can't fool me." That was the mentality that I picked up from a lot of people. You know, it was like, just because you're using a different R word doesn't mean you can sneak it past us. We know what you're doing. We're on to you, Mo. You're tearing things down. You're going cheaper. And you expect us to just bend over and take it, right? But if you remember, the fan base made it very well known that the last 2 years were not good enough and that they were fed up with the way things were going with the current model of the St. Louis Cardinals. And they did that by not showing up anymore. You would go to the ballpark and it was something most of us had never seen before, where there were no fans around. Lot of seats available. You would hear watching telecast. You would hear announcers from other teams go, "I have never seen it like this. I mean, this is weird. This is bizarre. Cardinal fans not supporting the Cardinals? What the hell is going on here?" So why are we surprised then that the front office and Mo would change their mind about how they're doing things? You shouldn't be surprised by this, right? Like, we shouldn't be shocked that they decided to go in a different direction. Why would they continue to do the same thing that got them where they are in the first place, where attendance is down, morale is down? It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, would it? If they just kept trucking along and doing the same thing another year, you're not going to be pleased by that. So they switched it up. What they've been doing for many, many years now is basically they would throw money at the problem, right? Whatever issues were going on with the roster, they would just throw money at it. Lineup needs more pop. Let's make a trade for some high-priced talent. We'll bring in Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. Very expensive players, mind you. They made deals to go get them. Very good deals, mind you. I can't think of anybody that they gave up that you're all that upset about these days, I don't think. Well, Luke Weaver, I guess, doing pretty good things with the Yankees now. But come on. You got to admit, they won the Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt trades. All right? Those were good ones. But they had to throw money at the problem. They had to pay them. Pitching was the problem in 2023, so they signed a handful of new pitchers. Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, Keenan Middleton. Got some new bullpen arms and stuff. Whatever part of the team wasn't up to par in the previous season, they went and paid or traded for someone that they can pay to try and fix it. And what it reminded me of is you've seen the cartoons before, right? Where, the character's like, oh my gosh, the dam is starting to break. Okay, there's a leak. And they would put their finger in the hole and then another leak would pop open and they would stick another finger in there. And then another one pops out and they'd stick their toe in there. You've seen this before, I'm sure. Over and over and over, they try to hold it all back until finally the dam breaks. Flood ensues. We got problems, right? So instead of doing this again, the front office has made the choice that with the new Chaim Bloom regime coming in and taking over following this upcoming 2025 season, that this is where they're just going to stop trying to plug the holes. We're going to stop doing it and start using younger players, younger guys that have to work and on the ability to what I'm trying to say here is they're going to rely on these younger players and work on their ability to develop more younger players and better younger players in the future so they don't get stuck in this model again. All right. Is that making sense? I'm trying to say it eloquently for you, but they're just done overpaying to put Band-Aids over all these holes. Okay. They're like, hold on, there's a better way to go about this. And fans aren't going to love it. They're not going to love it because for years they've shown up in droves to buy tickets to go see the Cardinals and buy the hot dogs and buy the beers and the ice cream for the kids. You know how expensive it is to take like a family of four to a Cardinal game? It ain't cheap. There's parking, jerseys, hats, all of the stuff that you got to get for everybody to have a great time. It ain't cheap. It ain't cheap to do it. And fans would do it anyway, though, because they were hoping that the money they're spending to support the team would contribute to them winning more ball games, would help them compete for a championship. And for a while, it worked until it didn't anymore. And the reality was that unless you want to have a payroll that's 200 million plus, and will continue to escalate year after year after year, you have to develop your own talent. You just can't keep doing it this way. Some teams don't care about that, but the majority of teams do. I mean, even the Dodgers, they went out and bought themselves a championship, so to speak. They went and bought Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Freddie Freeman and Teoscar Hernandez, among others. There's other guys they've paid. They made trades to go get Mookie Betts, Tyler Glasnow, Tommy Edman, Jack Flaherty, and so forth. But remember, they still drafted and developed prospects to make those deals, right? They still had to have good enough prospects to trade with those other teams who were trying to dump those salaries. And then they took the salaries on. They've also drafted and developed a lot of good players on their own. Clayton Kershaw, 3-time Cy Young Award winner. Walker Buehler, until the injuries got him, was excellent. New guys like Gavin Stone. Will Smith is one of their draft picks. Gavin Lux, and so forth. So they have had to do it. And they're always considered to have a very nice pool of prospects. Very good organization. And that's why people do deals with them, because they develop very, very well. And you just can't win without developing your own guys. You just can't. And that's what the Cardinals are going to try to get back to. And it's how they used to win a lot of ball games back in the day. Develop your own talent and nucleus, and then you fill in the gaps with free agency. Not the other way around, where you're relying on all of these free agents. You got to keep buying everybody, and then you fill in the gaps with guys that are just, they're all right, that you developed. So the Cardinals are tired of seeing young talent that they draft find success elsewhere in exchange for letting these high-priced veterans that they keep trying to buy and have them stick around. And it's not working. So they're going in a different direction, a more economic direction, yes, but also in a direction that's going to allow the franchise, hopefully, to continue to compete year in and year out again and not be handcuffed by these outrageous 7 to 10-year deals for guys who will never live up to the money that they're signing for. Maybe one or two of them will, but not many of them. Not many of them. Most of them will go the way things went with Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, where in the back end of these deals, the production starts to deteriorate, and now you're paying a crap load of money for a guy who's not giving you the production that you're paying for anymore. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that anymore. So this is why there is change. And Katie Woo from The Athletic just wrote a piece which included a lot of quotes from John Mozeliak. And one of the things that they're saying is this is not a tank job. And I'm going to tell you what he had to say about all of it coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. The World Series, Super Bowl, the Olympics, the world's top athletes get to play in these top-level sporting events thanks to one thing, and that's teamwork. And teamwork can also protect your financial legacy and your family's future. SelectQuote's licensed insurance agents are the perfect teammates when shopping for customized, affordable life insurance. They can find you the right policy to keep your financial legacy safely in your family's end zone. SelectQuote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985. Other life insurance brokers offer impersonal, one-size-fits-all policies that may cost you more, but cover you less. That isn't good, right? While SelectQuote's licensed insurance agents, they work for you to tailor a life insurance policy for your individual needs in as little as 15 minutes. You invest so much time to take care of yourself and to be the healthiest, best version of you. SelectQuote's exclusive policies can reward that effort. So if you're in good health, they work with carriers. They could get you same-day coverage for up to $5 million, no medical exam required. And these policies are more affordable than you think. You could get coverage for up to $1 million for as little as $20 per month. So head to SelectQuote.com, and a licensed insurance agent will call you right away with the right policy for your life and your budget. SelectQuote. They shop, you save. Get the right life insurance for you for less at SelectQuote.com/locked-on. Go to SelectQuote.com/locked-on today to get started. That's SelectQuote.com/locked-on. Thank you again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. You can leave your comments on YouTube as well as on Twitter X anytime you want. That feedback always welcome and encouraged. I'm going to link Katie Woo's story in the description, and that way you can read it in full for yourself, because I'm not going to hijack the whole story. You should go check it out for yourself. But she's got a lot of really good quotes from President of Baseball Operations and GM John Mozeliak about what is happening with the team and the roster moving forward. So in simple terms, they are deciding to let the kids play. All right, that's the phrase. Let the kids play. See what they can do. And it's not like they're relying on a bunch of like low-level prospects, you know. These are the guys that they want to be the core of this team and the nucleus of this team, outside of some of the veterans like Wilson Contreras and Sonny Gray. You know, if Nolan Arenado sticks around. If Miles Michaelis and Steven Matz stick around, you know, outside of those guys, these guys that they want to be the future of this team are a lot of higher round draft picks. Some of these guys are first round picks who were drafted with the idea that they would become the leaders of the St. Louis Cardinals at some point. Michael McGreevy, first rounder. Jordan Walker, first rounder. You got Nolan Gorman, first rounder. Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson, Lars Nootbaar, Brendan Donovan, Michael Ciani, although not drafted by the Cardinals, was a high draft pick from the Reds. Victor Scott, Andre Palante, Ryan Helsley for now, while he's still here. Zach Thompson, Gordon Graceffo. None of these guys I'm listing for you were drafted below the 8th round. They're all upper level draft picks. And now is the time that the Cardinals are going to sink or swim with them. Talking about the years leading up to this reset, here's one of the quotes from Mo. I can get a picture of him. There he is. Mo said, "It's been a good run, and I know this is a what have you done for me now kind of business, but when you look at this as a whole, there's been a lot of success from the franchise, and we did it trying to be innovative, trying to be cutting edge." Now, first thing I'm going to say about this is he has got to stop talking about the past. Cool. All right. You won a lot of games back in the day. All right. Last couple of years have not been good. It's not like this is the first year where things haven't gone well. Like, we haven't won a playoff game in a long time. So he's got to stop bringing that up. All right. We know you guys were good way back when. He brings up, what have you done for me lately type of thing. Yeah. What have you done for me in the last 5 years is what we're saying. We're not talking about just in the last 6 months. So he's got to quit doing that. Anyway, to continue with Mo's quotes, I think the last few years, maybe we weren't focused on where we can squeeze a little more out of the fruit. And instead, we were trying to squeeze a little more for payroll. Loves his fruit references, by the way, doesn't he? He continues, over the past couple of years, the timing of my situation, it's now that time to hit the reset and try to reposition ourselves to have another great run, which is great. They're thinking about the future. They're thinking about not only next year in 2025, but down the road. They want to set something up nice for Chaim Bloom and the rest of the people that he's going to bring in. And people are nervous that this new approach is going to destroy any chance of the Cardinals building off what was an 83-win season this past year. That's what people are nervous about. You know, they don't want to be bottom feeders. They don't want to be the Marlins or the White Sox or the Athletics and all of these other guys that just they can't get over the hump and win. But Mo doesn't feel that way at all. You know, you got Wilson Contreras coming back. You got Sonny Gray wanting to stay as well. And Mo continued saying, our team is not going to look all that different as we navigate the next 4 to 8 weeks. It is going to be how can we better our club or how can we better our future? What does that look like? We are going to find pathways to give our younger players a chance to play and see what they can do. Now, Katie points out that in years past, the team would find a weakness and try to fix it with a free agent, much like I brought up in the opening segment. She gave center field and second base as examples where this past year, younger guys like Victor Scott, Michael Ciani, and Nolan Gorman, they struggled tremendously offensively. This year, the team is going to take a different approach to that, with Mo saying in the past, we couldn't keep trying. We'd have to go out and address those needs. Now what we're saying is we're going to let the players go play and find out if they can make those adjustments. Let's see if they can do it for us instead of us giving up on them, and now they're doing it for someone else. We were always rushing to find the next better thing. Now we're going to say we're going to give this time to see what we really have. And, of course, that's going to make people think about his favorite phrase in the history of John Mozeliak, and that is patience.
From our fan base right now is a little bit of patience, or a little bit of patience. This is a little patience. So just be patient. Being patient
Just be
about
patient.
this. Too patient. No, really just ask for people's patience and all of this. And ask from our fan base right now is a little bit of patience.
Yeah, okay, we got it. But they're going to be more patient with their younger players. You know, what's been one of the biggest complaints over the years? We keep watching former Cardinals do great things for other teams. Randy Arozarena kind of started this trend in a lot of people's eyes. And then there was Sandy Alcantara and Zach Gallen and Adolis Garcia, then Lane Thomas, Ramon Urias with the Baltimore Orioles. People forget that he was in the Cardinals farm system and was a good player, and they DFA'd him. Went on to win a Gold Glove with the Orioles in 2022. People forget that. Juan Yepes, solid contributor in Washington this year. We watched Jack Flaherty finally stay healthy, and he moves on and thrives with the Tigers and then the Dodgers. Tyler O'Neill, monster year with the Boston Red Sox, right? finally stayed healthy as another guy. Luke Weaver, as I mentioned earlier, found a home with the Yankees and their bullpen. It seems like almost wherever you go, in any team you look at, there seems to be like a former Cardinal prospect doing positive things for their team, while the Cardinals are left just kind of scratching their heads, wondering how the hell did we let another one get away? And they don't want to see this happen anymore. The fans don't want to see it happen anymore. I don't want to see it happen anymore. It sucks. It's been this vicious cycle to watch, as not only do the young guys get away and flourish, but you see other guys who wore the Cardinal uniform do great things, like Jordan Montgomery getting traded and then stars for the Texas Rangers in their World Series run. That was kind of painful, wasn't it? Watching Tommy Edmonds scorch the ball and play all over the place, almost the MVP for the whole postseason for the Dodgers during this year's run. Another punch to the gut. Jury is still out on like Dylan Carlson. Will his career turn around wearing someone else's colors? We don't know yet. But this is not going to be a tank job. It's not a tank job. The Cardinals aren't selling off pieces simply for financial reasons. They're not trying to sell the team. They weren't winning with these guys anyway. Like, why do you want to keep them around anyhow? You know? Like, let's try something different. Let's see what else we can do, because this ain't working. And you know it's not working. It's a change in philosophy that when you step back and you look at it, overdue. It was overdue. We're going to close things out next with a quick rundown of the Diamond Sport agreement with Amazon Prime. This was big news. We'll do that next on Locked On Cardinals. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, and they can do it all in one place, which is really nice because nobody likes picking up your phone, going onto an app, and having no idea where to go to do certain things. Nobody likes that feeling. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. It's all right there. So what you need to do, if you haven't already, is visit FanDuel.com to join today. Now you're going to get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. My advice to you, pick something simple. Go with something simple that you're pretty sure is going to hit. And there you go. You'll be all set and ready to go. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB baseball guru Sully, bringing you a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on all the teams during this offseason. The chase for Juan Soto and Corbin Burns and Blake Snell and Max Fried and Willie Adames, all these big money free agents. He's got you covered on the latest of what's going on with them. Obviously, we'll talk about it here on Locked On Cardinals as well, but you can find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. So this next chunk of information that I want to share with you comes courtesy of MLB.com's John Denton, who covers the Cardinals, in regards to the new deal that was struck between Diamond Sports and Amazon Prime Video, which will, quote, enable direct-to-consumer access to Diamond's FanDuel Sports Network's 16 regional sports networks serving fans in 31 states. If you remember, the Cardinals reached a deal with Diamond last week to provide streaming services to fans. Albeit they had to take a pay cut around 25% less than what they were originally supposed to get in the previous deal. But at least we have some answers, and it's not like so uncertain of like, okay, where's the rest of this money coming from? They had to take a pay cut, and it is what it is, but at least it's not like there's nothing. So under the terms of the agreement, and I'm going to put this up on the page for you guys to read along with me if you want on YouTube. FanDuel Sports Network RSNs will be available via Prime Video as an add-on subscription for customer living within each team's designated geographic area. More details will be announced at a later date. Customers will be able to subscribe to and watch their local FanDuel Sports Network content, including live games and pre- and post-game programming, directly through Prime Video. Amazon will market the availability of FanDuel Sports Network content on Prime Video. Fans who watch local games through Prime Video will enjoy a seamless and customized viewing experience, as Prime Video allows them to subscribe, manage, and watch their favorite streaming services and sports content in one place. So, for fans in the Cardinals geographic area, this is how you will be able to watch the team next year. All right. So it's all set up and ready to go. For people outside of the geographic area, you'll have to use, the MLB packages that you've been using, like MLB TV. All right. So that's what you'll have to do. I know people have a lot of questions about price-wise. We have heard reports that it's probably going to be about $20 a month for those in the geographic area, but that is not for certain yet. So don't bank on that. But that's just kind of what we're hearing, is that it's going to be how it is like for the Blues right now, where it's like $20 a month. So hopefully you have the means to be able to do that and pay for that. And that way you're watching the Cardinals next year as this youth movement takes over and hopefully has great success. So that is what we're looking for and hoping for in 2025. So thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. You can like and subscribe on YouTube to help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. Again, we're pushing for 11,000 subscribers. We're less than 100 away right now, at least at last check. And that would be a big milestone. And I hope it happens. And I appreciate all of you for sticking with us. I know the offseason is a difficult time because there's just not especially right now with the Cardinals, because there's not a whole lot of news coming out of camp until these winter meetings go on. And maybe some guys like Helsley or Arenado get traded, or Michaelis or Matz or somebody else. There's really not a whole lot to report on at the moment. But we're going to continue looking at things, looking at possible trade scenarios and a whole lot more. So stay with us. You are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.